Hey everybody, another episode of On the Paint Table. Is my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So we're bundling 2 weeks into one, painted 10 models in the last 14 days, and got a bunch more projects on the go. Managed to get in a couple games with my Starmada and Aleph, and so I've been working on painting some more of that. So I can clear the decks to do some Bakunin. I've been wanting to do like a in-between faction after my Aleph and my Corgador, and it felt like painting some blue would get me ready to paint some more red. I also painted up a Lanza Battletech for something coming up on Monday, which you get to see, which is me going to stream with Catalyst Game Labs to basically celebrate the end of their Mercenaries Kickstarter, which is, at recording, is almost hit $6 million US, which is bananas. So they invited me to come and live stream some games with Randall Bills, the lead developer for Battletech, and you can see that on the Six Sides of Gaming YouTube channel and Twitch channel. So if you want to go like hang out and put notifications on them early, you can watch me play a whole bunch of games Monday and Tuesday, both classic Battletech and some Alpha Strikes. I painted up a few battle mechs to take to those games as well. And then I got some stuff assembled. Jay and I played some Judge Dredd, which you'll see coming up soon. And yeah, and I'm getting ready for some new projects. So let's see what got done and what is coming up. So first up, I Am the Law. I painted up some Judge Dredd minis from Warlord Games. These are the new resin plastic I Am the Law starter set models. I've got a Street Judge and a Rookie Judge all painted up for some campaign games. Jay and I had to reacquaint ourselves with the rules because it's been a minute since we played. We played through this 3-mission sort of like storyline that comes in the I Am the Law starter set, and you get to see those coming up soon. And then we're going to start a block war campaign on the tails of that, having now like actually reacquaint ourselves with the rules. So these were done with like almost like a slap chop method. I primed them black, zenithally primed them with some Corax white, and then used contrast paints as like the foundation for everything. And then went back with a little bit of like beige, I think just like Screaming Skull, mixed into those same contrast paints to get the highlights. So I think it was Leviathan blue for the pants, Militarum, or yeah, I think it's Militarum green, Astro Militarum green, or like some kind of Imperial Guard word green contrast paint. I used Bal Red for the accents, and then just went in with Griffin Gold and some, I think it was the Flesh Wash, the new shade, Gilliman Flesh Wash, whatever it is, the rosy red one, just kind of warm it up, and the same Gilliman Flesh on the faces, and then just went through and highlighted everything. The basing is actually the AK Interactives Asphalt, dry brushed with a bit of like light, I think it's just whatever the like the army painter old Codex gray is, and then a bit of like blue white, I think Azerman gray, the like light blue white at the edges, and then just did the rims. So quick and dirty, got them painted, got them on the table, had a lot of fun. We played 3 games in like a morning, and you get to see that coming up soon. Reinforcements for my Starmada. I painted a Raptor boarding team, which is a Diva bot with a heavy flamethrower there in the front left, and the back left is the actual Raptor himself. That's the multi-rifle profile, which is the Killer Hacker. It's an amazing profile. I got my Varangian painted with a Trench Hammer, an SMG, and Chain Cold, or sorry, not Chain Cold. Yeah, it is Chain Cold. Giving me some warbands and some smoke for my Epsilon. And I painted the Lambda because I was really missing it after my Zeta got killed on Friday. You probably watched that. Being able to put the arms and legs back on, so I'm an engineer now as well. So 4 more reinforcements, a couple more that I got base coats on too. You'll see those in a minute. They were painted with the same Leviathan blue over Corax white base coat. I used Black Legion, I think it's called now, not Black Templar, for all the black bits, scale 75 black metal, and then the basing is Astrogranite debris with a bit of like, I think it's Army Painter leather brown, like thinned down and washed in the center to give it that kind of like gray muddiness in the middle. And then those are Green Stuff Worlds, something Tau Seda orange or something like that. It's like an alien tuft orange for the tufts. And then just highlighting with electric blue and ultramarine blue from the Army Painter range to the edges. I used the same Griffin Gold with a bit of, I'd run out of scale 75 Viking Gold, so I had to sub in Griffin Gold with the Gilliman Flesh Shade Wash, and then a highlight with the scale 75 gold, the brighter one, not Viking Gold. I can't remember. Again, there's too many paint names, too many paint companies, I can't keep up. But I'm happy with them, and yeah, and I'm going to keep adding a couple more models, and then that project's going to go on the afterburner, and I'll get on to Bakunin. So if you've been following along on social media, you'll know that I'm playing Wolf's Dragoons, Jamie Wolf's Dragoons, in the upcoming battles with Catalyst, and so I painted up a lance of Dragoons from the Gamma Regiment. Now this is a Griffin, a Thunderbolt, a Rifleman, and a Hunchback. And it makes a nice standard battle lance. So I got a Lance of Wolf's Dragoons painted now, which is appropriate for the Kickstarter. They're one of the most famous regiments of mercenaries in the Inner Sphere. And they've played for all sides, even during like the clan invasion and stuff like that. They've got lots of different masters over the course of it all. And having just finished my Northern Highlanders, it was nice to change over to some dark blue. They're airbrushed with Imperial Hobbies. I mixed the color, so it's like a little bit of their blue and dark purple. And then I put a little bit of their like blue gray in for the highlight, and then edged it all with electric blue. Once again from Army Painter. The canopies are done with Vallejo. It's like burnt red, highlighted with like the fire engine red, and then they're like bronzed fleshy orange, like mixed in. And they're burning burning orange, and then like their bronzed flesh blended in the edge for the canopies and stuff like that. The highlights are actually weirdly old Citadel Vomit Brown, one of my favorite orange yellows, and because it covers black really well, is the base coat, and then like Hazard Striped after a little bit of like that bronze flesh is mixed in as a highlight. Scale 75 black metal for the metal. It's one of my favorite metallics, and then a little Nuln Oil wash on the recesses after the airbrush just to make everything pop and stuff too. Bases are Sterling Battlemire. With a little bit of Black Legion contrast paint thin down in the middle there to make the shadows between their legs, and then the edges dry brushed with, I think, old Graveyard Earth and like a bit of Screaming Skull up on the feet too, just to make them a little more muddy. You probably won't see these, but I wanted to do another lance just to like actually have like a pair of lances so I could play like a full-size game with them at some point. So I got the Heavy Battle Lance pack from Catalyst. It's part of the current releases. It's an Axeman Night Sky, I think it is, or Night Star, the big, huge juggernaut. Cataphract and a Bushwhacker. I can't remember if it's the Night Sky or the Night Star. It's Night something, I'm pretty sure. And this is like a heavy battle lance. I have two, basically the Gamma Regiment's like main battle force basically is these two. I'll probably do a command lance for the last one. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna actually do it. But this is the charcoal gray Rust-Oleum that I primed everything, and you can see the airbrushing over top of that. As my next unit. And then I was lucky enough to score the Catacombs of Corral from Relic Blade Studios. I'm going to paint the new like clan ogre orc troll men's forces for the solo and co-op like dungeon campaign that Malev made. I also got my hands on the Schooner Labs terrain set. That's going to be coming up soon, so I need to get these antagonists painted. They're guarding the catacombs for the first few levels, and then I'll go through the whole process of actually like reviewing the book and rolling up who our protagonists are going to be, creating the decks, and you get to see that live on camera during the book review for how we're going to do the adventure. But for now, I got to get the assets painted, so I'm going to get these guys on the paint table and all painted up, and then we'll get that campaign underway. Here's my last little wave of reinforcements for my 012 Starmada. We got a Blue Coat, who I should have painted ages ago. Casanova, but I painted up in like the Spike Spiegel suit, because he's very Spike Spiegel. And then a Nyoka, so I can do some other fire team shenanigans. These are going to be the last little, I think, like run of models. You can see there are some of the in-between stuff. Like this is all just base coated with contrast paints. The metallics are base coated and washed with shades, and then the basing is actually down, and I put down the wash in the middle of that leather brown to give it that staining. So this is all before it's all neatened up and tidied up. So if you're ever looking for like a transition of like, how does he use contrast paints to do that? Well, here it is. I use them for base coats, and I tidy it all up afterwards. So I don't keep you guys waiting on our League of Dungeoneers campaign. I'm going to paint up two more heroes for our hero set, a Dwarf Warrior and a Paladin, and this will give us a full like hero complement for Jay to dip in and out of the campaign. We haven't been able to get together and play a game because we work on other projects and stuff, and I figured this way I can keep the story going basically while he comes and goes from the campaign. And Bubba the Barbarian, who's now the People's Champion, can dip in and dip out, and we'll have another pair of like protagonists basically join the party. And so we played our games already with Jay's half because he has the whole star set painted of the I'm the Law starter set, so he painted up all his street punks to play. But you can see here, this was the Zenithal priming over top of that same charcoal gray that I did for the street punks, and I will get to them probably actually for like some cyberpunk shenanigans. They make great cyberpunk minis. I might actually play Kill Sample Process with them, an indie game from the Forbidden Psalm universe. Yeah, I got some ideas, but I've also got a Judge Dredd mini to paint, which also gives me a Lawmaster because you can have the bike by itself because it's semi-sentient. And then we got the Block War expansion, which is what we're going to run our campaign with. So we'll have those coming up soon. Spring Offensive was rescheduled to May. I've got some Tinker Turf terrain. They were kind enough, Lane from Tinker Turf was kind enough to sponsor the event, and so I've got some more terrain for the tables that I'm going to put together. I have this cool SATCOM installation and some more containers. So I'm going to sit down probably with Cash, actually, because he likes gluing these things together and put them together prior to the event. So there you go, a couple weeks back from Adepticon, and we are deep into the project still. Lots of things on the go, lots of pans in the fire. You can see what gets done next week on Saturday. Further on the paint table, fill out a mash. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My two kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.